They should have their own school. They should have their own thing. And I'm like, what are you speaking about? We are all Asian.
Yeah,
Education should be for everybody. It's the same
exactly.
for the trans community or the LGBT community. Education do not have that kind of uh, uh, um, separation. Education is for children. It's for everybody that wants to learn.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot want the country to thrive if we want to keep separating people and telling people that you should be there and this person should be there. No, we are all persons.
Welcome to another Reimagining Philanthropy plus IT episode. My name is Debbie Jean-Jacques. I am your dedicated moderator. On today's segment, we will focus on organization you should know called OTRAH, which stands for Organisation Trans d'Haïti, translation which would be the Trans Haitian Organization, which has been in operations in Haiti since 2017. On today's segment, we have Dominique Serville, I believe. Did I say
Yes,
it correctly? Thank you. Um,
correctly.
who is the executive and administrative director of OTRAH. So to start off, Dominique, if you don't mind, can you provide like a brief summary overview of OTRAH's mission and its objectives?
Okay, first I would like to thank you, Lily, for giving me this opportunity, and I'm very pleased to be here. And I'm gonna dive right in. OTRA, already you said it stands for Organisation Trans d'Haïti or Trans Organization of Haiti. We have many axes of action, but for now we are focusing on major three, maybe four, but there's three major. And the first one is to provide visibility for the trans person in Haiti, positive
Mhm.
visibility, because many of us are visible, but maybe not in the way that we think that people should see us. And we are trying to change the narrative around trans persons and their issues, what they stand for, and what are the purpose, most of them, and mostly those who are very well engaged in the field of activism. And second thing we do is to provide support, uh, medical support and mental health support, and also educational and also financial whenever it is possible to trans persons that are at needs of these. And we most of the time try to provide that ourselves in collaboration with other institutions that provide either financial assistance or other technical assistance. And the third point is very well about eh, giving a safe space for trans persons. And I know maybe you heard of that, but we are really trying to do that in a different way, which is not only to provide safe space, which means persons that are at risk or persons that are already in the streets, living in the streets, trans persons that are already living in the streets, or some of the youth that has, but unfortunately have been rejected by their families, and we receive them in our space, and we provide shelter, food, sometimes educational support whenever it is possible. And we try to keep them safe from not only the streets, but also from other uh, kind of difficulties, sometimes about HIV or other medical assistance that we can provide. So mostly is that. The fourth one, which is why I didn't put the emphasis on it, is because it is pretty difficult in Haiti to provide legal frame support for
Mm-hmm.
trans persons, because we already know that the government does not support that, and it is very difficult to find other institutions, private or public, that are willing to take the step with organizations that are providing uh, shelter to trans persons that are victims of gun violence or other type of violence. And we are still on the making of that, and it is a work in progress. We do not want to speak about it too much because we want to speak about it because we want to make advocacy for that, because we think it is very important. But we do not focus on that for now because we found out that it is pretty difficult to really work with the legal system, like
Mm,
in general. So we are taking it step by step, trying to implement into other institutions with other activities that will provide really insight about the issues of the trans persons when it comes to legal support or legal assistance. And so far, that's what we have been doing. But something that is very well organized or very well oriented toward the trans person, it is pretty difficult to do that because most of the person that are involved in the jurisdiction system do not know about that or they do
okay.
not want to be part of it. So I think the first step is first to really try to make them feel a different type of way about it, like feel
Mm,
involved, feel complacent, or at least uh, give certain respect or feel engaged because trans person are part of the population in general. So once they do that, maybe we can try to make them getting involved in working directly with the trans community. So
I,
far, this is one of the fourth uh, point
already.
axis of yes that we really work toward.
I actually love that. I kind of want to focus a little bit more on the objective, your second objective, which kind of falls into healthcare. So,
Mhm.
providing healthcare accessibility to responsiveness, you could say, to the specific needs of the community. How is it for you guys to collaborate with like health practitioners? Do you guys have some support? Because based on what you said, it doesn't seem like it's very hard for you guys to find support. Um, Especially because I know you guys are based in Port-au-Prince. It might be a bit like I would say scattered because I know when it comes to healthcare in Haiti, it's like the majority hospitals are l'Hôpital Général. I know l'Hôpital Communautaire last time I went in 2018, it was practically like a ghost town. So we do lack some infrastructure when it comes to hospitals. Like, where do you guys partner in? Not necessarily where, but like, do you find the support in some capacity in some like in the healthcare system?
Okay, I don't want to say no because I know that many people know about the support that Haiti receive in terms of assistance and technical assistance or financial assistance from the US or other countries when it
Mm-hmm,
comes to health support. And most of these financial supports are oriented towards HIV positive persons.
mm-hmm,
I'm not discriminating or I'm not saying that it is not that important. It's not important. It is important. And in that category, OTRAH is also part of that system because we work with POSEF and other institutions that are really involved in the advocacy and framework that is being set up for HIV positive person within the community, the LGBTIQ community.
mm-hmm,
But when it comes to trans person as a group, no, it does not exist. And I know that for a while I've been talking about that and I've been really gathering informations. I know that internationally there's a lot of uh, financial support being given for the trans community, and it is sometimes discarded uh, in between uh, OCDs, which are organizations that are community based organization, and it is very little what they receive and what they
mm-hmm,
can do with that money. It, I won't say it does not impact the community, but it does not impact the community in a way that really can provide a highlight on what trans persons need. And in
mm,
terms of OTRAH, we've been collaborating with a few institutions. I want to say a big thank you to FIDA and also to Outright and CAISO. We've
mm-hmm,
received funding from them. And with that funding, we have been trying to set up two of the three major axes in which we work towards. It's mostly when it comes to health, mental assistance,
mm-hmm,
and also, unfortunately, sometimes when we receive the funding, we had a certain path, a certain organization or certain I won't say organization, but a certain schedule. And unfortunately, because of the way Haiti is politically and economically, we have to sometimes change that,
Your
and that has happened.
scheduling. Yeah.
Yes, that has happened twice. At the beginning, at the end of 2023, the country was suffering major political changes because of the death of the president, and a
Yep.
lot of things have been really going upside down. So we
Mm-hmm.
had to make that emergency responses, like giving food, clothing, water, and sometimes financial support to people who needs it, because at the time it was very difficult. And unfortunately, it has happened through throughout 2024 because again of the same political issues, the incapacity of the government to really provide shelter, to really provide safe place, and the gun violence. So many trans person were already leaving their home because of their trans identity, and
Mm-hmm.
now they are leaving their home because of the gang violence. And most of them are being violated. They are being raped, and even though it is not something that is transmitted, there's no really big data, which is one of the steps that OTRAH is working toward.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to provide shelter, we have to provide support, emergency response through that. And of course, we have to also put the emphasis on the COVID-19, which was
Mm-hmm.
a big part of 2023 going 2024. And again, those three major funding that we received, we had to really discard it in between those issues. So, which means that we did not have the possibility to work specifically on the trans issues, which is very different from the issues that other population, marginalized population are going through. For example, one of the things that we really want to work toward is the chance to provide the possibility for trans person to do their transition here in Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
And we have been working in a project that really has the main focus was that. And again, the country, the situation, because the project was in between Dominican Republic and Haiti. And when the Dominican Republic shut down his borders,
It's
and we
border,
couldn't,
yeah.
yeah, we couldn't go in the Dominican Republic for anything, and mostly medication would come from the Dominican Republic, and most of the assistance, the technical assistance too. So we had to again uh, change that support into emergency response, and we directly put the emphasis on reinforcement into the institution, and also really the safe space, which is a shelter for trans person in another level. We are working toward that as we speak. Unfortunately, we do not have the funding. Like we have to provide just papers first, and then the funding will be distributed toward that specific point. But so far, that's what has been going on. And as I mentioned it, we can't say that in Haiti there's very specific support for trans person when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
health assistance. It does not exist, but some OSCs are trying sometimes to provide that. And this is one of the things that OTRAH does. We had started working toward mental health assistance for trans person
Mm-hmm.
specifically, and it has been a huge success. The thing is, we had stopped it at the
Because of the current situation.
exactly,
Yeah.
and many of the transgenders that have been coming to those sessions are now asking for us to open it again. So we are
Mm-hmm.
really trying hard to find support too, because we cannot always ask people that most of the time are not part of the community, but do have degrees in terms of psychologists and also other specificity in working in terms of mental health to help out freely. So we have to pay them.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, it's a pretty difficult thing to really find other institutions that can support that, because most of the funding, as I stated before, directly directed toward HIV positive people, even though these people are from the trans community. But and also the other difficulty that we are encountering is many of those psychologists, they do not have any degree that are specifically meant to work with trans persons. And that was one of the focus point of the project that I've told you about.
Mm-hmm.
It was to really provide that kind of training from someone in the Dominican Republic that is really specifies its work on working with trans person when it comes to transitioning. And unfortunately, once again,
The borders closed. I mean,
yes,
what I'm hearing, like what I've heard, that you basically said, and excuse me if I'm repeating everything, I just want to make sure that I got everything, and that probably other people also, I guess, like that it registered. Unfortunately, when it comes to the healthcare, for trans people in Haiti, is practically non-existent. And you guys have been able to facilitate the transition process mostly with the Dominican Republic, which unfortunately, I would say now, but the border being closed, you guys are not able to get access to the medication that you need for the people going through transition. And at the same
yes,
time,
okay,
go
yes, you
ahead.
can continue.
And at the same time comes the whole mental health support, where a lot of, you could say, psychologists in Haiti are not readily, you could say, equipped to support the trans community. And you guys before used to facilitate that by working with someone in the Dominican Republic. I guess my question to you is, being that you guys have already started I would say capacity development. You guys have already started this community into nurture. Have you considered maybe partnership with Haitian psychologists outside of Haiti that are somewhat well versed or have experienced I guess, the community at hand? Yes or no?
I've considered that, but
Mm-hmm.
as I stated before, sometimes the systems is pretty large.
Yeah.
You have to find somebody that can facilitate you the contact with the person that you really need at the time,
Mm-hmm.
which is not the case. The only support I've been trying to put through is the one with the Dominican Republic. And I
Mm-hmm.
know that that psychologist wanted to come here and to provide the training. As far as to work with other psychologists from Haiti, but that are not living in country, but outside of the country. No, but we are willing to try. We are willing to try. All we need is support and participation of everyone that feels concerned about the issue. So yes, I guess that we want to do that, but I won't say that I haven't think about it. I did, but I didn't go to the point of finding someone or an institution that is willing to provide that.
Okay.
Yes, but I've been to OTRAH, which is one of the huge program for advocates
Mm-hmm.
in New York. And I've talked to a few psychologists. Unfortunately, most of the, I won't say funding, but most of the resources are going to Africa, not Haiti. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's an ambivalence in when it comes to advocacy, when it comes to work that is being done on the ground for countries that are really in need. And I think that maybe Africa is at the top of the list and not Haiti. So I do
Mm-hmm.
understand that because the legal framework here in Haiti, they do not condemn homosexuality, they do not condemn trans person, but which is not the same case for some countries in Africa. So I do
Okay.
understand that, but we do not need to let that happen to provide support or to provide help. I
Okay.
think that that narrative or that way of supporting has to also change because in that case, many countries will find themselves in the position of other countries in Africa that are living this situation as I'm speaking right now.
Okay.
So
And
we are
I kind
trying
of
to
wanted
avoid that.
let's touch a little base on the legal framework as well as the narrative of trans community in Haiti. Unfortunately, when I was doing a little research, there were not a lot of database, or there were not a lot of information about the sector. I remember back in 2016, I was reaching out to organizations that provided grant for, you could say, nonprofits that focus on HIV or whatnot. And one particular organization bluntly told me that they don't give to Haiti, even though they give globally. They don't give to Haiti because they don't have a real assessment of the country. So I can understand why some grants are somewhat like, sent to Africa or elsewhere. Is probably because, unfortunately, the narrative out there is not, I guess, lacks evidence, you could say, or it's
Mm-hmm.
not
You can
enough
say this.
to showcase the importance of the sector, what it is that, why it is that it needs unrestricted funding. Because you mentioned with the grants that you received from the three institutions, even though, yes, the grant was there to facilitate HIV education, unfortunately, it was somewhat restricted, where you guys could not necessarily use it for the real objective of the institution, of the organization. And what you guys need is really for grant makers to consider allowing grassroots organizations to make decisions and give you guys access to unrestricted funding. Like, yes, it's great to give funding for HIV education, but also there are other needs. So I guess my question for you related to like legal framework, because I know you've mentioned it's a bit difficult to work with the Haitian government. As
We work with Asian. I won't say that we don't work with Asian government. We do work with Asian government, but
uh-huh.
it's like an undercover work.
Okay.
It is not mentioned clearly that they support LGBTIQ rights or LGBTIQ grassroots institutions.
Mm-hmm.
It is not mentioned, but they do provide certain support in generally in terms of receiving funding for HIV. Some of the funding is received by some institution that are part of the program of PEPFAR or Mondial,
Mm-hmm.
global funding. But with that money, the only thing that the focus is on is the HIV positive people and how to provide data regarding HIV positive persons.
Mm-hmm.
How many persons are being infected, or how many persons are under are taking the medication. That's the point. That's the whole thing. But when it comes to assistance, when it comes to mental health for trans person, like for trans issues specifically, not HIV
Mm-hmm.
issues, but trans issues such as trans persons that are being rejected, trans persons that do not receive education, or trans persons that are being violated because of the gang violence, or some other specific issues that are for the trans community. There's no funding for that, and to provide data, we need funding.
Mm-hmm.
For example, we need a certain data. I won't say application, but a certain data uh, about the trans community, and to build that, some grassroots can always try to have their own data analysis documentation,
Mm-hmm.
but it won't work if it's only one institution or two institutions or three institutions, and these data are very scattered, like they are dispatching in between institutions. Sometimes the data are mixed. I will take a specific example that has happened in HIV. If someone is being offended and that person is living in the West, like in the
Mm-hmm.
capital, and that person goes to Jacmel, for example, in the South, and that person goes for medication there, or the medication is finished and they have to do another reassessment and see if that person is really with HIV positive, and they have to give medication and so on. That same person is being registered twice sometimes, which means that that data sometimes is biased, because you won't know exactly how many, the exact number. So it is the same thing for that gathering of data that we are speaking about. I think that we should have a common data for all the grassroots, or if the government is really interested in trans person, have
Mm-hmm.
a general or global data, national data that is for trans person, and that data will concern their health, will concern their education and other issues that are specific to them. But we can do that ourselves because Miss OTRAH specifically, we talked about that, and I went to gather information about how to pull up a system like that. It's more than $4 grand.
Mhm. It's
And
taxing.
that is only for buying the equipment. But in
Mm.
terms of generating data, like the management of that data, because we do not have that resources, that human resources in our community, which means
Mhm.
that we have to pay somebody else to do that. And they are not going to do that freely. You have to pay a data analysis, and it's very expensive to
That I know.
treat that data and provide a documentation
Yeah.
that is really like, I mean, solid documentation. That also is some money, and
Mhm.
we do not have that kind of money. So of course, it is very difficult to provide funding because the data assessment on the ground is not really showcasing. But for that to showcase, we have to build something first. We have to have that layout and come with something, with some
Mhm.
data first, and then we can provide more supportive and more accessible data toward the world. But if that does not happen, I don't think there's a possibility for us to ever um, come out of that hole where everybody is saying that we cannot provide that kind of support because we do not have uh, sufficient evidence that you need that support. I think that something has to change.
I mean,
Something has to
it
change. There's
also
a risk that we have to take.
it's a matter of collaboration as well with other institutions that have the capacity to collect the data, and also making sure that once you create the evidence, you creating the narrative, you putting information out, like you're recreating visibility so that people are aware of what's going on. Then you have the opportunity to then get some sort of donation so that it go towards the data collection. And
Exactly.
I kind of want to, like, with that is more so like, how do you guys approach awareness? You can say awareness in schools among the youth to foster a more inclusive and accepting environment for community M, which is.
Awareness is a big part of the work that we are doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunately it is not well supported because it only comes with the creativity that we have. For
Mm-hmm.
example, I think that OTRAH is one of the first institutions that has provided visibility for trans persons with what we call mediatic. Yeah, the word has gone out of
Comedy?
my head.
Is it
It
comedy?
no. It was like it was the first time that the country was saying that like it's like showcasing trans person, like somebody that you didn't know, and the picture is out there on the internet, and you can go on that page and look at the pictures, and they give description about the institution where the person is and who is that person. But it is a trans person either, but it was mostly for trans women, and I think that we did that for IDAO 2020. Yes, IDAO 2029 or 2020. It
Mm-hmm.
was the first time. And all other institutions has since then tried to do the same to
Mm-hmm.
provide that kind of visibility. But it is a dab of what can be done in terms of awareness. And um, last year we've been trying to I won't say a rally, but it was some type of that, but we use the HIV positive to go toward the population with the trans community. We had something in outdoors
Mm-hmm.
in a place in La Plaine, and we came with medical supporters that were there to provide counseling and testing for HIV, and at the same time, so we were doing the sensitization, like talking about SOG, talking about a gender identity and sexual orientation.
Mm-hmm.
It, the program was to be started around 12 and to stop around 5 or 6 p.m. They shut it down at 2.
Oh, wow.
They shut it down at 2. But what I appreciated is even though they didn't I would say they didn't know because we have provide great information about the situation, what we wanted to do in the place, and everybody agreed. They give us the place and everything. They even participated. But what I think is the population didn't know that it was about that because we had flags all over the place and trans person was there, like real life trans person in expressions, gender expressions and everything. So after a certain thing, at a certain time, I think that people was like, we cannot accept that. And after a certain time, they came and they asked, can you please shut it down? Like, even though we had police officers in the place, they were providing safety and
Security.
security. But
Mm-hmm.
yes, but we did not have the whole control of the situation because at that time, gun violence was not that huge of a deal, but it was still there. So we couldn't protect everyone, so we had to shut it down. But
Mm-hmm.
we are planning to do that soon, and I think that this kind of this kind of initiative or some type of way to provide that. And we also did sensitization into schools in Lapland for the beginning of 2024. We work with a teacher in a school, and he provided the possibility for us to speak to the children, but we didn't speak to how can I say that? We speak to teenagers, but mostly grown teenagers.
Yeah.
We couldn't speak with because they did not allow us to speak to
The
young,
younger
yeah, to
the
youngsters,
youth.
yeah, the youth. But we did that, and it was something really big for us. And we didn't receive any invitation yet, but we are trying to really get in touch with other institutions. So that I've been a student at La Sève. I want
Mm-hmm.
to go to La Sève and do that. There's La Jachère. There's a lot of schools that we are in speaking terms with, and we are trying to see if there's any possibility for us to do that again.
Mm-hmm.
This is from the point of view of an OCB, and I think we are the only one for now that has been doing that because not many schools do agree to provide such opening
Platform, yeah,
to
because they're, I
exactly,
would say most
yeah,
schools in Haiti are basically private and very religious based. So it's very hard
exactly,
to integrate and
exactly,
teach young people.
exactly.
You can say teenagers, you can
But
say from the age of
yeah,
17, 16,
so
18-ish.
yes, 17,
Of
16, yes,
yeah,
16 and 18 years because it was youngsters that are going to baccalaureate and
yeah.
third, I can say third place. It's been a long time since I've been to school, so I don't really know, but it's around that age. And we are we are planning to do that again. Maybe it's in other different way. Maybe provide another setting. Maybe they could come to us instead of us coming to them because you go into the school mean a lot for the parents, for
Mhm,
the school itself and the environment where the school is. So we have
mhm,
to consider all that. We are not here to harm the system. We want to integrate the system. We want to be part of the system and give our participation as much as possible. And for that, we have to consider all the options and all the different outcomes that can come up from that position. But
mhm.
this is us. But in terms of general government assistance, no, that exists. Then it's I remember that I asked in a conference. I asked for the persons to the ministry to consider having a part of the curriculum oriented towards sexual
Education.
exactly, because I think this should be part of it. Because
Mhm,
when you're speaking about sexuality, this should be part of it. It's not something that you are going to put in a specific box, and so
exactly.
people can think that it is a specificity that you want to implement it on persons. No, it is part of it. It is part of sexuality, so we should speak freely about it. And they've been a little bit reticent, but
Hesitant.
yes, but I'll keep putting that in my agenda to speak about that because I think we really need to speak about sexual orientation and gender identities
Mhm,
with everyone. And most my biggest argument is for sexual orientation. It is something I won't say that you can campaign, but it is something that people think they can manage because sexual orientation comes at a late age, like when you're a teenager, when you started having feelings and everything. But it's for as for gender identity, it is not the same because not most people that are trans people are born trans people.
Mhm.
Which means that me, I've always said that I was 6 years old. I knew that I was different. I
Mm.
knew that I wasn't a girl. And I couldn't expect that because I didn't have any information that was proposed to me, or I couldn't speak about it. Even when I was older, I finally made my coming out at 24, which means that I have all the cisgender experiences in my family, with my family, because they've been pushing me to have boyfriend. They've been pushing me to have all kind of experiences that cisgender persons have. I
Mm.
was not a cisgender person and I couldn't express that. So our role as OCB is sometimes to prevent that kind of trauma because people might not see it as trauma, but it is a
Yep.
traumatic experience.
Mm-hmm.
Not wanting something and being pushed toward that thing is very traumatic for you. Because
Especially
especially
with
yeah,
a young person.
exactly. Especially
Yeah.
when you don't have any point of reference. You don't have any examples. You don't have
Mm-hmm.
anybody that you can speak about that situation. So it is very traumatic for you. So I think that this is one of the things that we are trying to do in terms of our awareness, to provide that awareness as far as possible. When I mean as far as possible, are in terms of geographically speaking, but
Mm-hmm.
also in terms of situation, going to the lowest of the categories. When I say lowest of the categories, I don't mean like people with no money, but I mean the person that is the smallest in the community, like a child from growing up, because child mostly they understand that better than adults.
That's
I've
true.
been speaking to child that really really accepting trans persons with no question. I won't say they don't ask questions, but that the questions make more sense than adult questions,
That's true
which means
because
that
as the child has a tendency to, they have an innocent mind.
exactly.
They're more free, they're more acceptance, and there's no judgment versus
Exactly.
the adult. We're like sponges, like we capture everything that people tell us, and we tend to stay on pattern and believe what it is that we were told to believe and whatnot. And unfortunately, that has I guess destroyed societies as well. But I guess my question to you is, what has been the most rewarding part of working with OTRAH?
The most rewarding part was, yeah, it hasn't come yet. I don't think that's come yet, but I've been very satisfied from where we have come from
Mm-hmm.
to now. It's been a great journey, and I uh, I can say that okay, maybe the most rewarding part for me, I'm speaking about me, not the institution itself, is putting putting OTRA into a different level of of making impact,
Mm-hmm.
because most of the institutions that I've been working with or that I've been part of before OTRA, mostly we were into situations with speaking with ourselves. When I say speaking with ourselves, all the trainings, all the awareness was made for the community, with the community,
Mm-hmm.
and the general population was not part of that. With OTRA, it's a different level of awareness. We bring awareness to the general population. We
Mm.
want the general population to really meet the trans community. And we want the trans community to not be so afraid of being part of the general community, because we are one.
That's true.
And sometimes you meet trans person without knowing it's a trans person.
That
And
is very
sometimes
true.
yes. So we want to break that kind of barriers that provide the the knowledge for people, that when people take that trans person or persons from the community, they are a group men that have their own things, that do their own things, or that should be doing their own things. We want to break that barrier. because
Mm.
I think one day I was participating in an event, and we were speaking about education, and we were speaking about voodoo, and one
Mm-hmm.
of the person provide that insight to say that people that are part of the voodoo
Buddhism.
religion, yes,
Yeah.
Buddhism, they should have their own school, they should have their own thing. And I'm like, what are you speaking about? We are all Asian.
Yeah.
Education should be for everybody. It's the same
Exactly.
for the trans community or the LGBT community. Education do not have that kind of separation. Education is for children. It's for everybody that wants to learn.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot want the country to try, if we want to keep separating people and telling people that you should be there and this person should be there. No, we are all persons, and we should be mingling with each other and having side with each other, and have accepting knowledges from each other. This is how it's supposed to be. So that barrier, that separation, we want to put an end to it for once and for all. We want the community, the trans community, to be involved within the general population. We want the trans community to provide support, to provide help, to be there, like to participate like everybody else.
Agreed.
I
And
think
just
this is, for me, this is the biggest accomplishment we've made
I love that.
so
And just
far.
because you are considered as quote unquote other or trans community doesn't make you lesser than or does not make you Haitian. At the end of the day, we are a community. We are Haitian and we come in different shade, color, different religion, different background. At the end of the day, it's just more so like we have to be more l'union fait la force versus working against each other and whatnot. Just
That's the
like,
thing. That's the thing.
everyone deserves to live their life how they wish. And I think for my next question to you is, was there a question that you wanted me to ask you that I haven't yet?
No, not really. Maybe I was expecting questions, maybe that more, I won't say personal, but that or more about me. But it was about OTRAH, and I'm glad about that, because I don't want people to think that OTRAH it's only me. OTRAH has a lot of person working in that. Unfortunately, the only difficulty that I'm having now is most of the time I'm the only one who speaks English,
Mhm.
and I've been speaking with another colleague about that. This is a huge gap for the
For
community,
the
LGBT
organization?
community. Yeah, LGBT community in Haiti, because most of the time we are surrounded by people that are working with each other but in another language, and
Mm-hmm.
that for us is a setback. And I've been speaking with Ilgala, mostly all of them speak Spanish. I've been in groups where there's a lot of advocacy being done, but it is in Spanish or in English. And I was thinking sometimes that, oh, I speak English, though I should be good. I should be able to speak, to communicate with people, because most people speak English. But
Mm-hmm.
I've been in that Spanish group. They are doing amazing work. I don't understand anything. I keep writing in the group, can someone please do that in
Have
English so
English
I can understand?
translation.
So now I've been taking the step. I say, okay, I have to speak Spanish, because I can be in a group and not understanding what is going on, and they are doing really amazing major work for trans persons. I've been invited to events that they are doing in Mexico and stuff, but unfortunately, all of the barrier that we have here in Haiti is the possibility for us to really go out the world, to exchange with other people that are doing amazing things, or that have
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
amazing things to teach us. But it's been a year or two. I haven't gone to any conferences. I haven't participated in anything that is international because of the, I don't know. For me, it's intentional. It is impossible for you to get any visa for now. Right now,
Mm-hmm.
it's like we don't exist internationally, and
Mm-hmm.
so it's either the institution come to us, or we participate online. And sometimes I think the experience is, I won't say rough, but it's not what it's supposed to be. Because mostly when I'm here in AE, I have a lot another focus. My focus is um making OTRAH work, making things work. Because before I didn't have a safe place, but with the
Yes.
safe place, I work 24/7, because I have to provide food, I have to provide shelter, I have to provide clothing, uh, drinking water, and all that thing, it takes a lot of my energy, so I cannot really focus on other things. But I think that that should be an advocacy for us Asian to really ask they can provide us the same opportunity as the other country in the Caribbean.
I completely agree. And what I took from what you said is a form of collaborations for not just the diaspora, but anyone who wants to support the LGBTQ community, the trans community in Haiti, is to look for you guys, not only to look for you guys, but also do, because I know the Queer Haitian Collective, but Stephen Baboon and Roy, they collected some fund,
Big shout out. Big shout
circle
out
and
to
collected funding for you guys, I believe last year or this year. And I think
this
that's
year.
something
It was
it should.
in May.
Mm,
That money was a big. I want to say a big thank you to them, because at that time there were no water, no food. We
mhm,
couldn't go outside. So with that money, I had provide food and clothing and shelter for 10 transgender persons that were living with me. Some of
mhm,
them are gone now, but I have at least 5 that are still staying with me because they do not have the means to live yet. But a
mhm.
big shout out to Stephen Baboon and Asian Collective. It was amazing. It was amazing. It is the first time I've seen something like that.
I think that we should, as a community, continue that collective given mindset. And also, even like when it comes to collaboration, if like anyone within these, I guess, psychology realm, I think that's the word I'm looking for, the psychology realm, to like basically support you if they are Haitian and they have some experience within the LGBTQ community, and they can support instead of you guys going to Dominican Republic to get this assistance. Like our community who already speaks the language, who already understand our culture, would be able to really facilitate you guys in future trainings, as well as maybe some mental health free, free, we love free,
Yes, yes,
some
that
support.
would be an support. That would be amazing. That would be amazing because we've been really struggling with that, and I
Mhm.
know for now because of the situation we have a lot of cases that I cannot take them. People are writing to OTRAH asking when are you going to start again, and I'm like in a couple of months, in a couple of weeks, but still I cannot provide a quick reasonable answer because uh, first I have to think about the quality of the support that I'm
Of
giving,
course.
because yes, and also I have to make sure that what I want to give the community, they receive it pretty well and they well supported, well rounded, and that is something really huge for me. So that would be something amazing if I could find, as you said, a couple of persons that are within the realm of psychology that can provide that training. Even though it's online, I'll take it because we do need that.
Mhm. I completely agree. And thank you again for joining me today. I would say some of your biggest objectives and priorities for OTRAH that stood out for me, obviously, is the educational health as well as mental health portion of your initiatives. As far as like, legal framework, that one still has is not on pause, as you said, but it's not something that you guys are actively working on versus providing home for these individuals, as well as providing education, HIV education in priorities, and just simply nurturing and creating a safe space for the community. Again, thank you. I'm going to add, I guess, in the description some of
No problem.
OTRAH's links so that you guys can go learn and educate yourself about the work that they're doing, and obviously donate to their causes. And Dominique, I guess I will send you an email offline to point you to some healthcare, mental health, healthcare, I should say, individuals. And you have my
Thank
number.
you in advance. Thank you.
Text me on WhatsApp
I
if need.
will. I'll definitely will.
Awesome. Thank you. And be safe.
Bye. Thank
All
you for
right,
the
guys.
opportunity and talk to you soon.
All right then. Bye.
Bye bye.